Dr. Roger Callahan, about 25 years ago now, was a psychologist. And he had a patient who was deathly afraid of water. I mean, so much so that she would drive around, go miles out of her way to keep from crossing a bridge. She never took a bath or a shower. She sponge bathed.
Oh, wow.
Never knew where her fear of water came from. She had been through 2 other psychologists for years and years. She had already worked with Dr. Callahan for a year or so. I can't remember the exact amount. And his healing room, place where he did his psychology, had a sliding glass door that led out to a pool. And occasionally he would open the window or the curtains so that she could see the pool while she was talking about water. And he started taking acupuncture as a sideline. He wanted to learn about the meridians and stuff. And one day he had the curtain open and they were talking about water, and she said, "I'm getting sick to my stomach." And he said, rather than close the curtains, he said, "Well, I know this is, right in here is the stomach meridian. And if you feel there's like a little divot in your cheek. You got like a little hole. Can you feel it? And if you push on it, it'll be sore. Just a little bit, not much. That's a vital acupuncture point to your stomach meridian." And he said, "Okay, while we're talking about it, just rub on that place." And so they're talking about water, and she's rubbing on her cheek. And suddenly she says, "Doctor, it's gone." And he said, "You mean your stomach feels better?" She said, "No, my fear of water is gone."
That's insane.
And I mean, this was like a moment that led to, when I got on the internet today, there were 8,800,000 just putting in tapping.
Right,
Some of them, led to something else, but it's across the world now. It has grown, you tell 2 people, you tell 2 people, you tell 2 people. It has grown so exponentially. They're using it at MD Anderson. All the major cancer hospitals are doing studies on it. There are studies everywhere going on, and there are many psychologists who are using it now. Well, Dr. Callahan, after this experience, and by the way, they've kept tabs on this woman, and her fear of water has never come back. She ran out to the pool, stuck her feet in the pool, was splashing her feet. She says, "I am going to the lake, and I'm going wading in the lake." She splashed herself, called him, and said, "I've just been to the lake. I feel wonderful. It's gone, gone, gone." And, through keeping tabs on her, it's never come back for her. So he started working with something that he called EFT. And at the time, after he had worked on this and acupuncture points and psychology and everything, he created a teaching modality that cost about $10,000 to go to. Gary Craig became one of his students, begged him to become one of his students because he wasn't a psychologist, he was a civil engineer. And after going through all this process of learning this and spending all this money on it, Gary Craig sat back and went, "It should be a little bit easier than this, and it should be free." And he created EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. Took away a lot of the psychobabble, etc., etc. And they've called it, like, sometimes instant psychology, where some people, this lady had gone for years to a psychologist. That's not discounting that psychologists don't have their worth. They definitely do. And many of them now are using EFT to break through to some deep-seated issues. Gary Craig, the first time I heard about this, I went online, and you could download an 85-page tutorial.
Still can.
Yeah, and there's many others who are doing it. In fact, there's a Tapping Insiders. Just go on there, and you can download a free tutorial. It's somebody else. Gary Craig has since retired, but the work that he has done is going on, and there's many new books that you can buy. And I eventually, I loved it that it was free. It was like, this is amazing. Everything else is like, for $595, you can come to the first step of this, whatever modality. And not to say that they're not all wonderful, they all are. This one just seemed to resonate with me.